Thank you so much for coming. And thank you for finding a way to Rutgers. And for everybody who is online, thank you so much for joining us. And 1 second, I made sure I switch off. Because we are like with this whole hybrid technology, it still has some challenges. The first time ever we're, like, at least I'm involved in the first time ever doing it. So my name is Dr. Wolfram Hofer. I'm an associate professor at the Department of Landscape Architecture. I'm also the director of Center of Urban Environmental Sustainability. And together with the Rutgers Climate Institute, we are the Rutgers partners of this conference. And the main funder of this conference is the German federal government, with David Gill among us as the General Counsel of Germany. I'm very pleased about that. But the real welcome should come from our honorable president, President Jonathan Holloway. A pleasure to welcome you, and please join us for the welcome. Thank you.
Oh, goodness. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me here today, and thank you, more importantly, for participating in this conference. Welcome to Rutgers. It's actually strange for me to say that, since this is, I'm in my second year here, but post-quarantine, as we're coming out of this pandemic. This is my first time in this building. Turns out it's quite beautiful around here. Welcome to Rutgers. I'm really pleased to welcome everyone here, as well as online, for this two-day hybrid conference, Climate Bridge. I want to take a moment to talk about some key principles that are part of our administration. I've talked a lot about the importance of institutional clarity for a very complex university such as ours, the importance of academic excellence, and the importance of a beloved community. And I want to linger just for a moment, if you'll permit me, on these topics, because I see that I see this event as something that embodies so much of what we want to aspire to do always at this university. I want to linger on academic excellence in the beloved community, particularly. Rutgers is already an excellent institution. I hope everybody here knows that, presumes that, and supports that claim. But we can never be content about our excellence. We must always be working diligently to find new ways to partner, new ways to explore, new ways to pursue the most complicated ideas that or challenges that are known to humanity, because if we aren't doing that work, if our partner institutions aren't doing that work, no one will. We must be, in this way, institutions that embrace the very oldest things known to humanity and the very newest things. And those new things should be challenging the old things constantly. It's a complicated space, but an institution that's committed to excellence will welcome that challenge with enthusiasm. The other thing I talk a lot about often is a beloved community. And many people think of a beloved community, a community as a small organism, and thinking of Rutgers, if one can think of Rutgers as being small, then I'm talking about a beloved community. I'm talking about our staff, our faculty, our students who are around this campus. And while that part is true, when I think about a beloved community, I think of a university being part of a much larger organism, that in the case of Rutgers, it is in service to the cities in which it is located. It is in service to the state, it is in service to the nation and to the world. And so it is exciting to me when I find out about great partnerships, in this case with the Republic of Germany. This is what also a beloved community means. It means an institution like ours finding partners all over the world and working together towards solutions of global consequence. Now, this conference is a collaboration specifically between the Center for Urban Environmental Sustainability and the Rutgers Climate Institute, and as I said, supported by the Consulate General for the Federal Republic of Germany, New York. Recent events have shown us that this conference is very timely, more timely than we would like, perhaps. This summer, Central and Western Europe was hit very hard by heavy storm events. Alone in Germany, more than 180 people lost their lives in the floods. It will take years to repair the damage from those storms. Here in New Jersey, Hurricane Ida hit us very badly. One of the remnants of Hurricane Ida, which is actually more concerning, is the remnants of Hurricane Ida hit very badly. Several people died, many homes were damaged, and the flooding interrupted the start of the fall semester on this campus and also up in Newark. Fortunately, faculty, students were prepared to switch back to online instruction for 2 days. I guess that's maybe one positive thing about what we've learned in terms of navigating the virus. But it was a powerful reminder. I don't know why people need to be reminded that climate change is real. It is impacting communities around the globe at a scale that is increasing and in locations where they had not seen these kinds of events. Certainly one is not accustomed to hearing about central New Jersey as being the center of loss and of damage when you think about hurricanes. It's just not part of our vernacular. Now it is. Rutgers is among the leaders in climate change research. Recently, it was awarded a $20 million NSF grant to lead regional large-scale coastlines and people megapolitan coastal transformation hub. Rutgers is a leader in the space. We take actions for ourselves, developing a climate action plan and the formation just recently announced of the Office of Climate Action that will lead the university's efforts to achieve carbon neutrality by 2040. The office also will mobilize the university's strengths to advance just, equitable climate solutions across the university and New Jersey to work toward the United States' goal of achieving national net zero greenhouse gas emissions no later than 2050. We are part of a much larger puzzle. We all know that climate issues know no bounds. We recognize the importance of building bridges and collaborations across the world to tackle these very thorny issues. The next 2 days brings together scholars and practitioners bridging across disciplines, across academia, government, NGOs, and the private sector. This exchange of ideas and approaches is made possible through the support of the German federal government. And it is my great pleasure then to introduce David Gill, the Consulate General of the Federal Republic of Germany in New York, for a few words. Thank you.
Good morning. Guten Morgen, meine sehr geehrten Damen und Herren, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, thank you, President Holloway and Rutgers University for the warm welcome and for being such a great partner in hosting this very timely and significant conference here in New Jersey. Your state is not only in many ways, as we heard, dependent on the efforts against climate change. It is also an important player in facing this global challenge and in finding ways to deter the threats of climate change. It is a great privilege as German Consul General to be connected to New Jersey as part of my district, which is, by the way, also a state with a strong historical and current connection to Germany. Your governor, for instance, is a good friend of my home country, not only since he was a truly great representative of the United States to Germany. It is for this reason that I'm able to call him and the First Lady my friends, since we met often in Berlin when he was the US ambassador while I was serving as the Chief of Staff of the German President. So there are a lot of reasons for me to travel New Jersey frequently. And just 2 weeks ago, I had a chance to visit High Point State Park. If you haven't been there, you should go there, it's beautiful. Together with Commissioner La Tourette, who will be participating in the panel tomorrow. Not only was it relaxing to wander through the park and enjoy the nature, but I also had a very interesting exchange with the commissioner and his staff about the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection's priorities and their work with climate change in the state. Climate change indeed has been visible for a while, more so in recent months with flooding and big storms in New York, in New Jersey, as well as in Germany, as we heard, where floods hit in a way never seen before. Hence, the topic of climate change also played a major role in recent German general elections. All political parties presented their ideas of necessary policies and measures toward further environmental protection and halting of global warming. At the same time, the Fridays for Future activists reaching voting age and the floodings in the Rhine area visibly affected the majority of voters who opted for parties with a more defined concept on climate issues. There is no new government yet, and coalition talks are still ongoing, but one thing is certain. Climate change and climate policies will play an important role for the new government. Almost everybody has realized the time is not only ripe, the clock is ticking. This conference is part of the long-term initiative Transatlantic Climate Bridge, which was launched in 2008 as a network of various activities supported by Germany's Federal Foreign Office, our Ministry for the Environment, and the embassies and consulate generals in Northern America. The Transatlantic Climate Bridge aims to stimulate and expand transatlantic exchange on climate and energy policy. After all, we are facing the same challenges. This conference aims to offer a learning opportunity for both sides by comparing two densely populated regions that have structural similarities, New Jersey and the German Ruhr region. Both areas have a rich industrial history and experienced substantial change with the transformation from the industrial age to the service-oriented economy and the digital world. The infrastructure of both regions is stressed by climate change. As everyone might be well aware, our overall administrative systems work in very different ways, with German and American approaches to environmental policy based on different cultural traditions. Therefore, this exchange of ideas and opportunities is important for us to learn from each other and to develop collaborative strategies on local, national, and global scales to fight climate change, which is affecting us worldwide. We are very pleased that this conference will strengthen the Transatlantic Climate Bridge collaboration, and we are looking forward to interesting and fruitful conversations, exploring new solutions and collaborations. And I want to thank Professor Höfer and his incredible team for pulling together such a great group of presenters as well as distinguished audience. On that note, it's my pleasure to hand it over to Laura Lawson, the Dean of the School of Environmental and Biological Science. Thank you very much.
Good morning. And thank you for those wonderful words. Thank you, General Consul Gill, sorry. And welcome on behalf of the School of Environmental and Biological Sciences. Our school exemplifies the evolution of the public land grant mission in the United States. Our roots as the agricultural school from New Jersey have nurtured us to focus on critical environmental and social issues facing communities throughout New Jersey and the world. Through our research, teaching, and outreach, we are actively engaged in the existential challenges of our time, from climate change to food security, and from resource sustainability to environmental justice. The Center for Urban Environmental Sustainability, or CUES, within our school illustrates the work through its mission to provide assistance in environmental planning to New Jersey's urban and suburban communities. Similar to our counterparts in the German rural region, New Jersey's underserved communities are exposed to environmental challenges due to settlement patterns and brownfield issues. Over 15 years, we have found ways to connect across the globe and have collaborated through summer programs, landscape architecture design studios, internships, and many publications. And that's much due to Wolfram's work. So thank you, Wolfram, for all of that. Our work on these important issues continues. For instance, this coming spring, the Department of Landscape Architecture has devoted all of its upper division studios to addressing issues of climate change under the leadership of Richard Alomar. The complexity of the challenges at hand requires interdisciplinary collaboration across schools and disciplines. Therefore, it's my pleasure to hand over the mic to Dean Peter Marsh, Executive Dean for the School of Arts and Sciences. Thank you.
Have to do the order correctly. Mask off, glasses on. Well, so thank you, Laura. On behalf of the School of Arts and Sciences, it's also my pleasure to welcome all of you here to today's symposium and the rest of the next day's events. Transdisciplinary approaches are a key strength of Rutgers, where we can bring collaborations across the natural sciences, the social sciences, and the humanities, in collaboration with the arts, business, law, engineering, SEBS, and many others. The Rutgers Climate Institute exemplifies this type of cross-disciplinary collaboration with more than 100 faculty affiliates from 13 schools across the university. The Institute's mission is to facilitate interdisciplinary scholarship, education, and outreach on climate change and to support initiatives to collaborate with practically apply our expertise to address climate change across our region and to explore and facilitate collaborative research with other regions. We're pleased to support just such an effort with this conference today. One important approach to make research work in practical terms is a collaboration with planning and policymaking. So in that connection, it's my pleasure to introduce to you this morning Vanu Thakuraya, Dean of the Blaustein School of Planning and Public Policy. Vanu.
Thank you, Peter. And thank you to Professor Wolfram and also President Holloway and Consul General Gill for being here. And thank you, Wolfram, for inviting us. I'm the Dean of the Blaustein School of Planning and Public Policy. We have a very active climate agenda, and I'm sure many of you in the room have some interaction with our school. And I also wanted you to know that I've had the great fortune of being able to collaborate with numerous German universities at various points. I came here from the UK and was connected to the European Commission and so on and so forth. And I really want to go back there for a visit. So when is that going to happen, right? And also at this point, we have an active memorandum of understanding with University of Constance, and we do have just the most wonderful students who come here for a one-year degree, especially with our public policy program. And hopefully we will have more interactions that way with other German universities, because my school has a strong internationalization agenda. The mission of the Blaustein School is to create local, regional, and national communities that are environmentally resilient, just, inclusive, and healthy. We seek to expand innovation in teaching, research, and service for the public good. This conference epitomizes many of these principles and just serves as a wonderful bridge between New Jersey and the rural region. And I know many faculty from my school are involved in the planning and will actually participate in this conference. And the challenges of long-term climate adaptation must be addressed in the context not only of environmental issues, but also the current economic shifts and social equity, and also health issues. The health risks are enormous, and Rutgers is really the right place to be doing a lot of this research, because we have so many of these expertise in various areas. And I'm hoping that this conference will bring together people from these different areas for this bridge building to occur. So with that, I will hand you over to Wolfram, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Banu, very much. And before I say a couple of housekeeping items, I would just like to say that even starting the preparation of this conference was already a great experience, sometimes a little stressful, but mostly a great experience of collaboration between different schools and departments. And it was a great experience for me to also get closer, get to know a number of our Rutgers colleagues, and also get closer to know a number of people at the DEP, like at the Department of Environmental Protection, a number of other stakeholders in the state who all are very concerned and who all are very engaged in working actively to introduce or to tackle the issues of climate change as we are facing them today. So a few housekeeping items. Having a truly hybrid event is a first and may feel a little bit strange from time to time. So this morning, actually, all panels will have people sitting here and discussing in person. Later, you may find a sole moderator on the stage and everybody else somewhere, right? And so this may cause some technical hurdles. However, the great Rutgers team, the technical team here with the center of Rutgers TV, who have very diligently prepared this in detail. And certainly, where's Daniel? Daniel? Well, he just running on and out like Daniel Ulke, an amazing recent graduate of our master's program who figured out all these details. So there's Daniel, great. So there may be some hiccups or something, just be tolerant with that, what may happen throughout the day or throughout those 2 days. The reason for that is on the one hand, the travel restrictions, so that it was difficult to travel. And I'm very pleased to see Dean Thorsten Wichmann right there, who actually got a special permission to enter the country. So for that, and thank you for Laura for doing that letter for that. But also it is a thing about Dean Wichmann will also use that time to talk about widening and intensifying collaboration between his planning school and our planning school and landscape architecture. And so there's a couple of extra reasons why it makes sense to come here. A number of other presenters from Germany was saying, why would I fly for a weekend with that carbon footprint to the United States? So that's like a second reason for just doing this hybrid setting. And it may a thing that this makes a way of the future when our collaboration, we're doing these hybrid classes right now that allow students to interact more closely and actively. And I could imagine that the future collaboration with the planning school in Dortmund, the planning school at Rutgers could probably have some of these active hybrid or online settings. And by the way, Dean Banu, we also already have a good, well-running collaboration with the University Alliance Ruhr, which is actually one of our sponsoring partners here. Which is the organization of the school of several Ruhrgebiet universities collaborating, and we do have a signed contract with them. This is why actually some other activities are easily to be done. So for the in-person attendees, yes, there's coffee and lunch in the back of the room. And in order to reduce the goal of carbon footprint, you will find the lunch will be a vegetarian lunch with some options of vegan choices. And so in there, of course, we are in the student center here. There's some additional choices outside. So, but for us, it was important to live and to work as a preparation team, the issues of climate change in all different levels, even with food and with composting. And I think Ariana for pushing for that, because that's a good thing we do also in our school to make sure we keep the whole carbon footprint low for everything. Just please keep in mind to keep on your mask every time, except when you are eating and drinking. It's a little bit like in the airplane, when you have a pleasure to fly these days, it's a little bit like that. Be respectful of each other on that note. And of course, feel free to grab your food spread out in a way that we are more, that it works better. And so we're actually super well on time. So it's really perfect. Thank you for doing this. So we take a little bit of a break, kind of hang out a little bit, make connections. We will continue in this room at 10, which will be in Germany at 4 p.m. And so for everybody on Zoom, we will continue using this exact link for an introduction in the Ruhr region, which already up the slide. And following some papers introducing our 3 conference themes, which are people, place, and policy. And we will invite for a first round of discussion just before lunch, right in here and on the exact same Zoom link. So please stay tuned. Thank you so much for everybody showing up and joining us on Zoom, and enjoy the break.